Wow, that's such a cool idea to build. Why didn't I figure it out myself? Let's learn how to build a train.
Round 1.
I am building a train today, and I go straight for dirt blocks because I want this to look like the oldest, most tired train in the world. Dirt has a rough, natural texture that makes everything feel worn out and ancient, which is perfect for an old steam locomotive. I use full dirt blocks for the main body, dirt slabs for the thinner flat parts, and dirt stairs to shape the rounded edges of the nose and the roof. Stairs are really useful here because old steam trains had curved fronts and sloped tops, and a straight box would not capture that classic shape at all. The only part I do not build from dirt is the wheels. For those I use black concrete, because wheels need to look like hard, heavy metal, and black gives that industrial feeling right away. The contrast between the dark wheels and the earthy body actually works well because it separates the mechanical parts from the structural shell. After the main body takes shape, I build the chimney pipe at the very front of the engine. A chimney is one of the most important details on a steam locomotive because it tells everyone immediately that this machine runs on fire and heat. Without the chimney, it could be any box on wheels. With it, the whole thing reads as a steam engine instantly. I keep the pipe narrow and tall so it stands out above the roofline. Then I place cobwebs coming out of the top to represent the smoke. Cobwebs are actually a perfect choice for this because their stringy white texture looks like steam or old thick smoke drifting upwards slowly. They give the build a sense of movement without needing any actual particles or commands. This is a good design trick for anyone building machines. Adding a smoke or steam effect, even with a simple block, immediately makes a vehicle feel active and alive rather than just parked. I continue shaping the rest of the train body and make sure the proportions feel right from the side. An old steam locomotive usually has a longer body toward the back for the coal and water storage, and a shorter, rounder section at the front where the boiler sits. I try to capture that difference by making the front section slightly rounder, using more stairs, and the rear section flatter and boxier using full blocks and slabs. The dirt slabs are useful on the underside because they create a thinner base profile, which helps the train look like it sits close to the ground rather than floating on top of it. Real trains hug the rails tightly, and that low center of gravity makes them feel stable and heavy. Even in Minecraft, keeping the base close to the track level makes the vehicle look more believable and more grounded in basic physical logic. To finish the build, I check the overall shape from a few different angles. From the side, the chimney rises at the front, the body slopes back gently, and the big black wheels sit under the body like they could actually roll. From the front, the wide nose and the chimney pipe give it that classic locomotive face. The whole thing is humble and simple, but I think that is the point. This is not a fancy modern train. This is the kind of train that carried goods through muddy fields 100 years ago. Dirt is the perfect material for that story because the texture already looks like something that has been rained on and left outside for decades. The cobweb smoke is the final touch that brings it to life. Even though every block is the most basic material in Minecraft, the shape and the details still make it readable as a real steam train. I think that is actually the best kind of building challenge. Phew, it took so much effort. Great, my train is ready.
Hello?
Hey, Banana Kid, look! I built it! Do you like?
No.
What? Will my mud train not go far?
No.
It's a pity, but I tried so hard. Maybe then you'll try to build a better train yourself?
Yay!
They ran to the place. This is where your building will be. Are you ready?
Yahoo!
Then go ahead.
Round 2.
I watch Banana Kid start his train, and immediately he picks gold blocks. And I already know this is going to be nothing like my muddy dirt engine. Gold is the flashiest block in the game, so a gold train is going to look more like a moving palace than a working vehicle. But I have to admit, it is a bold choice. Gold has a warm, shiny surface that catches light really well, and for a fantasy or luxury train, that actually makes a lot of sense. Real high-end trains like famous old express locomotives were sometimes decorated with gold details to show wealth and importance. So maybe Banana Kid is going for that royal locomotive idea. He builds the chimney first at the very front, and inside it, he places a campfire. This is actually a smart move because the campfire gives real glowing light and orange fire that looks like a burning furnace powering the engine. It makes the front of the train feel hot and active right from the start. Banana Kid keeps building the main body using gold blocks and then starts mixing in yellow concrete. I think he adds the concrete because gold alone can look too uniform and too perfectly shiny. Yellow concrete is slightly different in tone, a bit flatter and warmer, and mixing it with the gold gives the body more texture and depth. If the whole train were one solid gold color, it would start to look like a big bar of treasure sitting on the ground instead of a detailed machine. By using two similar but different yellow materials, he makes the surface more interesting without changing the color theme. He also adds yellow stained glass panes for the windows. Glass panes are the right choice here because they are thin and elegant, much more refined than full glass blocks. On a luxury train, the windows should look sleek and frameless, and yellow glass keeps everything in the same warm family of colors. Now he works on the roof of the engine car and uses yellow terracotta stairs and slabs to shape it. Terracotta has a slightly rougher and warmer texture than concrete, so it makes the roof look like a different material from the walls, which is good. In real trains, the roof is often a different material or finish from the side panels. Stairs are very useful for roofs because they give a gentle slope that lets rain run off and creates a more elegant top profile than a flat full-block roof. A sloped roofline also makes the silhouette more interesting when you look at the train from the side. Under the carriages along the base, he places a special mod block called gold wood. I have never seen this before, but I can see the gold fragments in the wood texture, almost like gold ore growing inside a log. It works really well here because it sits between the bright body above and the dark wheels below. Creating a smooth transition between the two very different materials. the engine, Banana Kid builds a second carriage, and I can tell it is a passenger car because of all the windows. He uses the same blocks as the engine, which is important. A train should look like one unit, so keeping the material language the same across both carriages makes the whole thing feel connected. The windows on the passenger car are evenly spaced and fairly large, which shows he wants passengers to have a good view outside. In real passenger train design, large windows are important for comfort and for making the journey more enjoyable. Nobody wants to sit in a dark box for hours. The carriage is about the same length as the engine, which keeps the proportions balanced. If the passenger car were much shorter, it would look like a tiny trailer being dragged along. By matching the lengths, Banana Kid gives the train a solid and well-planned silhouette from the side. Under both carriages, Banana Kid places wheels made from black concrete. I said it before with my build, and I will say it again now. Black is exactly the right color for wheels. It looks like cast iron or heavy rubber, both of which are real wheel materials on old trains. The dark wheels contrast beautifully with the gold and yellow body above, creating a clear visual separation between the decorative shell and the mechanical undercarriage. This kind of material contrast is very useful in vehicle design. The upper body communicates style and identity, while the lower mechanical parts communicate function and strength. After placing the wheels, he lays down the track system. He uses andesite for the rails and spruce plank slabs for the sleepers. Andesite is a good rail material because it is a naturally gray stone that looks like metal from a distance. Spruce slabs are flat and dark brown, which is very close to the real color of old wooden railway ties. Together they make a convincing piece of track. Banana Kid lays the track out carefully so it lines up with the wheels of the train. This alignment matters a lot because a train sitting off its track breaks the whole illusion immediately. If the wheels hover above the rails or sink through them, the vehicle looks like a prop instead of something that could move. By placing the rails exactly under the wheels, he makes the train look like it belongs on the track and could roll forward any time. The spacing of the sleepers is also consistent, which gives the track a good rhythm when you look at it from the side. I think this part of the build is more careful than it looks. It takes attention to keep the geometry clean when you have a large object like a train sitting above a narrow track. If anything shifts by even one block, the whole relationship falls apart. Banana Kid handles it neatly without making it obvious that it was difficult. Looking at the finished train from a distance, I have to say this is actually a really good build. The gold and yellow colors give it a completely different personality from my dirt version. Where mine looks old and forgotten, his looks like something from a fantasy kingdom or a steampunk world where every machine is decorated with precious metals. The campfire chimney glows warmly at the front. The yellow glass windows reflect light along the passenger car. The gold wood base creates a nice layered detail under the body, and the dark concrete wheels ground everything firmly on the andesite track. The two carriages work together as a unit because the materials never change between them. The whole thing feels like one object, not two separate boxes placed side by side. I did not think gold was going to work this well, but Banana Kid proved that an unusual material can sometimes create a stronger and more memorable build than the obvious choice.
Ta-da! Yay!
Where did everyone run off to? Hey guys, what's all that noise?
Banana Kid and I are building a train, JJ. Who did it better?
Oh, both of your buildings look great, but it seems to me that it's up to the audience to decide who did the best.
Yes, JJ, you're right. Do you have any comments on the construction of Banana Kid?
Yes, there are a couple of comments. Your train may look beautiful, but it's not practical. Any collision and the gold won't survive.
I totally agree with you, JJ. Maybe you will build a train?
Okay, then let's get to the place.
JJ, good luck. We'll wait inside.
But?
Thanks, guys. Then I'm starting. Round 3. I start by building the track before anything else because a train has no meaning without the rails it runs on. I construct the rails from dispensers placed end to end. Dispensers are not a traditional rail block, but their textured front face looks surprisingly mechanical and grid-like, which gives the rails a more technical and detailed appearance than simple flat blocks. The gaps between dispensers also suggest the joints between real rail sections, which is a good visual trick. For the sleepers, I use stone slabs. Stone is a great sleeper material because it looks heavy, durable, and flat. Slabs in particular keep the sleeper profile low so the rails do not rise too far above the ground. In real railway engineering, sleepers are embedded into gravel or packed earth to keep the track level and stable. The stone slabs here communicate that same embedded flatness. The spacing between each sleeper is regular, which creates the characteristic rhythm of a railway track. This consistent spacing is important because a track should feel like a system, not a random arrangement. Now, I begin the front of the locomotive above the track using diamond blocks in both the regular and dark variants. Diamond is an excellent choice for a futuristic high-speed train. It is the most valuable mineral in Minecraft, and it has a bright reflective quality that makes the whole vehicle look advanced and powerful. I use the regular diamond blocks for the main surface panels and the dark variant for edges, joints, and structural lines. This two-tone approach is very important on a large, smooth vehicle because it prevents the surface from becoming one flat wall of color. Dark edges define where one panel ends and another begins, which is exactly how modern trains are designed. The panel joints on real high-speed trains break the surface into sections and help the eye read the vehicle's proportions more easily. At the very front, I build a windshield from blue stained glass. Blue glass works beautifully here because it suggests a tinted pilot screen, giving the front a clean and aerodynamic appearance while also providing contrast against the bright diamond body. After the front section is shaped, I mark out the full outline of the remaining train. This is a very important step that I always recommend for long vehicle builds. Before filling anything in, establishing the full length and height of every carriage tells me whether the proportions are correct. If one carriage is too short or too tall compared to the others, fixing it at the outline stage is easy. Fixing it after everything is filled in is much harder. I keep the overall train long and low because modern high-speed trains are designed with aerodynamics in mind. A low profile reduces air resistance, and a long body distributes passenger load evenly along the track. Both of these ideas come from real engineering, and applying them here makes the build feel more believable even though the material is fantasy diamond. After confirming the outline looks right from the side, I begin filling the lower surface and the roof with diamond slabs. Slabs keep these large flat areas thin and clean. I continue filling the side panels with diamond blocks, again mixing the regular and dark variants to maintain surface depth. On the sides, I also place windows at regular intervals and fit them with blue stained glass panes. Panes are the right choice because they sit flush within the wall rather than sticking out, which keeps the exterior surface smooth. The blue glass matches the front windshield, so the color system remains consistent from the nose to the tail. Consistency in material and color across a long vehicle is very important because the train must read as one object even when it is many blocks long. If different carriages had different window materials or different glass colors, the train would look like separate pieces that do not belong together. By repeating the same blue glass panes and the same diamond panel system throughout, I create a single unified identity for the whole train. I also make sure to mark the carriage boundaries clearly as I go, so the segmentation of the train stays readable. I extend the carriages further and add a little more length to the overall train. This makes the build feel more substantial and gives it the long, sleek silhouette of a real express train. Between the carriages, I place diamond fences. This is a very effective detail because fences are narrow and mechanical looking. And at carriage joints, they suggest the flexible coupling systems that allow real trains to bend slightly around curves. They also create a visual pause between each section, so the viewer understands the train has separate compartments. Fences in this context do exactly what good joinery should do in design. They acknowledge the connection between two large elements without hiding it or making it ugly. I then move to the roof and install iron fences along the top edge. Iron fences are a good contrast to the diamond body because they look like service rails or maintenance handholds. On top of those, I place stone slabs and lamps. The slabs create a clean, flat surface along the roofline, and the lamps provide lighting that suggests active power running through the vehicle. Under the train, I build the wheels from black concrete. I use both full black concrete blocks and black concrete stairs to give the wheels a more rounded profile. Full blocks alone would make the wheels look square and robotic, while stairs allow me to cut the corners and create something that reads more like a real circular wheel. This is one of the most useful tricks in Minecraft vehicle building. Combining full blocks with stairs of the same material creates shapes that are more curved and natural than either block could achieve alone. On top of each wheel, I place a button. Buttons are a small but very effective detail here because they suggest the center axle bolt or the hubcap of the wheel. A small round detail in the center of a larger dark shape immediately makes the wheel look more finished and more mechanical. This kind of small-scale detailing is what separates a good vehicle build from a great one. I cut access passages into the sides of each carriage and install doors with buttons beside them. Every passenger train needs clear entry and exit points, and in Minecraft, a door is the clearest way to communicate that a space is meant to be entered. The buttons beside each door represent the electronic panel or handle that opens the door, which is another small functional detail that improves realism. I make sure each carriage has its own door placed consistently on the same side, so passengers would always know where to board. Consistent placement is important in transport design because passengers need to find their carriage quickly, especially at busy stations. I also check that the doors are positioned where they do not interfere with the window placement or the wheel arches below. A good exterior design solves all of these spatial relationships at the same time. With the doors in place, the carriages now feel like enclosed and accessible spaces rather than sealed display cases. It is high time for furniture. I start equipping the interior of the first passenger carriage. I place a bed against one wall and then add another bed directly below it to create a bunk arrangement. Bunk beds are essential in train sleeping compartments because they double the capacity of a room without increasing its footprint. A wider room takes more material and throws off the proportions of the whole vehicle, while a vertical bunk system solves the problem using only height. I place a crafting table nearby as a small work or desk surface, then add chairs around it so the space doubles as a dining or work area. Chests go against the wall for personal luggage storage. I add 2 more beds and another crafting table, with chairs further along the carriage. On top of the crafting tables, I place plates of food to suggest meal times. This detail is simple but very effective because it immediately tells the viewer what the tables are used for. I repeat the same interior setup in the other carriages, so the whole train has a consistent living arrangement. Repetition is not laziness here. It is realism. Real train carriages in the same class are designed identically, so every passenger gets the same experience regardless of which carriage they board. Consistency also makes the manufacturing of many carriages cheaper and easier. The same principle applies in Minecraft. Once a good interior layout is designed, repeating it across carriages saves time and keeps the train coherent. I make small adjustments in each carriage where needed, but the core layout of bunk beds, storage chests, and dining surfaces stays the same throughout. As I move from carriage to carriage, the rhythm of repeated furniture becomes almost like a pattern itself. Looking down the length of the train from one end, each carriage mirrors the last, which gives a very satisfying sense of order and planning. In the front cab, I build the control console using a variety of mechanical blocks. The driver's cab is one of the most important rooms in the train because it controls everything else. I place dispensers, droppers, levers, buttons, and comparators across the front wall to create a complex-looking instrument panel. Each of these blocks has a different shape and texture, so together they create a surface that looks genuinely complicated and technical. Levers suggest manual controls for speed or brakes. Buttons represent automated systems or communication devices. Dispensers and droppers look like vents, readout screens, or equipment panels. Comparators can suggest signal meters or performance gauges. I arrange them carefully so the layout feels organized rather than chaotic. A real driver's cab is designed so the most important controls are closest to the operator's hands, and I try to reflect that logic here by placing the most prominent blocks at the center of the console. I also add lighting inside the cab using lamps, so the instruments are visible during night operation. A driver needs to see the controls clearly at all times, and good cockpit lighting is a critical safety feature in real transport engineering. The lamps also make the front of the train glow from inside when viewed from outside at night, which gives the whole build an active and operational feeling. I place a chair in front of the console so the driver's position is clear. This single piece of furniture is very important because it gives the cab a human scale. Without it, the console could look like a wall of random blocks. With a chair in front of it, the space immediately becomes a workstation designed for one specific job. Great, my train is ready. It's time for me to show it to the guys.
Wow, JJ, you got a great train. I really like.
Thank you guys. I am very glad that you liked my building. Friends, be sure to write in the comments whose building you liked the most. Well, I think it's time for us to finish.
Yes, JJ, you're right.
Subscribe and like. Bye-bye.